Did you know that the United States is one of the few countries where being born on its soil automatically makes you a citizen? But what if that changed? What if millions of people, children, families, were suddenly told, you don't belong here? Well, Donald Trump tried to make that happen. And guess what? A federal court just slammed the door shut on his appeal to end birthright citizenship. This is huge, because this isn't just about laws. It's about history, identity, and the very foundation of American citizenship. But before we dive into what just happened and what it means for the future, let's rewind a bit. Imagine this. It's 1868. The U.S. is recovering from the Civil War. The country is fractured, divided, and to rebuild, a new law is put in place, the 14th Amendment. Its message? If you're born in America, you're an American. No exceptions. Fast forward to today, and that very law has become the center of a fierce political battle. Donald Trump, since his first presidency, has been vocal about ending birthright citizenship. In his words, it's a magnet for illegal immigration. His goal? An executive order that would strip away automatic citizenship from children born to undocumented immigrants. Sounds drastic, right? Well, the courts thought so too. When Trump tried to push this change, legal experts immediately pointed out a major problem. The Constitution itself guarantees birthright citizenship. And changing that? Not so easy. This latest court decision is a big blow to Trump's plan. But what exactly did the judges say? And could Trump still find a way to challenge this ruling? Let's break it all down. So, what exactly did the court say? In simple terms, the judges didn't just reject Trump's appeal. They made it clear that the 14th Amendment isn't up for debate. The ruling reaffirmed that birthright citizenship is a constitutional right, not a privilege that a president can erase with a stroke of a pen. The court's decision sent a strong message. If Trump or any future president wants to change birthright citizenship, they'll have to amend the Constitution itself. And that, nearly impossible. Why? Because changing the Constitution requires either a two-thirds majority in Congress or approval from 3/4 of states. In today's political climate, that's about as likely as seeing snow in the Sahara. But Trump's argument wasn't just about the law. It was about politics. His supporters believed that ending birthright citizenship would help curb illegal immigration. They claim that undocumented immigrants come to the U.S. just to have children who automatically become citizens, a concept often called birth tourism. But is that even true? Let's look at the numbers. According to research, the majority of undocumented immigrants have been in the U.S. for years before having children. In fact, studies show that birth tourism makes up a tiny fraction of births in the U.S. But that hasn't stopped Trump from using this issue as a rallying cry. And here's where things get even more interesting. This isn't the first time a president has challenged birthright citizenship. Back in the 1890s, the Supreme Court ruled in United States versus Wong Kim Ark that a child born on American soil, regardless of their parents' status, is a citizen. That ruling has stood for over a century. Yet, Trump insists that a simple executive order could undo this. So, why does he keep pushing this idea despite legal experts calling it dead on arrival? The answer: politics. Trump knows that immigration is a hot-button issue. Every time he talks about ending birthright citizenship, he energizes his base. He turns the conversation into an us versus them debate, portray himself as the only leader willing to take action. And with elections around the corner, this issue is more than just legal, it's strategic. But here's the real question: what happens next? Even though the court shut down Trump's appeal, this battle isn't over. If Trump wins the presidency again, he could try other legal maneuvers, like pushing Congress to redefine parts of the 14th Amendment or appointing judges who support his views. Could he succeed? Well, history isn't on his side. The Constitution is designed to withstand political pressure, and previous attempts to challenge birthright citizenship have all failed. But in today's unpredictable political landscape, nothing is impossible. One thing's for sure, this fight is far from over. Now, let's talk about what this means for millions of people. Real families, real lives hanging in the balance. Imagine being born and raised in the U.S., going to school here, playing Little League, celebrating the 4th of July, only to be told one day, you don't belong. That's the reality many American-born children of undocumented immigrants feared when Trump first announced his plan. Take Maria's story, for example. Born in Texas, raised like any other American kid, she never thought twice about her citizenship. But when Trump threatened to end birthright citizenship, panic set in. Where would I go? She wondered. I've never even been to my parents' home country. And she's not alone. There are over 4 million U.S.-born children of undocumented immigrants. If Trump's plan had gone through, their entire identity could have been put at risk. And this isn't just about individuals. It's about generations. Many of these children grow up to become doctors, teachers, business owners, and even military service members. In fact, did you know that more than 100,000 U.S.-born children of undocumented immigrants serve in the U.S. military? Imagine stripping citizenship from people who are willing to fight and die for this country. The idea itself sounds un-American, right? But here's the part that doesn't get talked about enough: the economic impact. Many experts argue that ending birthright citizenship wouldn't just hurt families, it could cripple the U.S. economy. Here's why. If the government stopped granting automatic citizenship to children born to undocumented immigrants, those children would be considered stateless. No country would recognize them as citizens. And without legal status, they wouldn't be able to get Social Security numbers, meaning no driver's licenses, no college aid, no legal jobs. And that's just the beginning. A study by the Migration Policy Institute found that ending birthright citizenship could create millions of undocumented people in just a few decades. Imagine generations of children growing up with no legal identity, no access to basic rights, and no way to fully contribute to society. And here's the kicker. The U.S. economy relies on immigrants. Whether we talk about farm workers, healthcare aides, or construction laborers, many industries depend on immigrant labor. If you remove their children from the legal system, you don't just impact families, you create a ripple effect that can slow down entire industries. It's not just speculation. A similar situation happened in the Dominican Republic when the government revoked birthright citizenship for thousands of people of Haitian descent. The result? Chaos. People became stateless overnight, unable to work, attend school, or even get married legally. Is that really the future Trump wants for America? But let's play devil's advocate for a second. Trump and his supporters argue that automatic citizenship creates an unfair advantage, giving undocumented immigrants a loophole to stay in the U.S. through their children. They claim it encourages illegal immigration. But does it? Here's a surprising fact. Birthright citizenship has been a law for over 150 years, and yet illegal immigration has gone up and down due to various factors, like economic conditions and border policies, not because of citizenship laws. Even under Trump's strict immigration policies, people still cross the border. Why? Because many immigrants come fleeing violence, poverty, and instability, things a citizenship law won't change. But Trump knew this. His fight against birthright citizenship wasn't really about solving immigration. It was about sending a message, a political move to rally his base, stir controversy, and keep immigration at the center of the national debate. But now that the courts have shut down his appeal, what's next? Could he still find a way to challenge this law? And what would happen if he became president again? Let's break that down next. So what happens now? Trump's appeal has been rejected, but does that mean birthright citizenship is safe forever? Not necessarily, because if Trump wins the presidency again, he's already promised to keep fighting. And this time, he might use an even more aggressive strategy. One possible move? Stacking the courts. Think about it. During his first term, Trump successfully appointed 3 Supreme Court justices, shifting the court to a conservative majority. If he gets back in office, he could appoint even more federal judges who share his vision. With enough legal pressure, he could push a new case all the way up to the Supreme Court, hoping for a different ruling. And it's not just speculation. In 2020, a leaked memo from Trump's legal team outlined a possible legal strategy. They believed that if they could frame birthright citizenship as a policy issue instead of constitutional right, they might be able to bypass the courts entirely. It sounds far-fetched, but stranger things have happened in U.S. politics. But here's another question. If Trump, or any future president, somehow succeeded in ending birthright citizenship, what would that look like in real life? Well, let's look at history. Before the 14th Amendment, U.S. citizenship was not automatically granted by birth. Instead, it was controlled by individual states. That meant someone could be considered a citizen in one state, but foreigner in another. Chaos, confusion, legal battles everywhere. And if birthright citizenship were taken away today, history would likely repeat itself. Would babies born to undocumented immigrants have to apply for citizenship? Would the government start tracking parentage more aggressively? Would hospitals be forced to document the legal status of every newborn's parents? The truth is, no one really knows. Because no modern country has ever reversed birthright citizenship without plunging into a legal and humanitarian disaster. But let's bring this back to the people. Meet Alex. He's 10 years old, loves baseball, dreams of becoming an astronaut, and was born in California. His parents, however, are undocumented. If Trump's plan had gone through, Alex's future would be completely different. Instead of growing up as an American, he'd suddenly find himself stateless. No passport, no legal rights, no guarantee of a future in the country he calls home. Multiply Alex's story by millions, and you start to see the real impact. And it wouldn't just affect children. Imagine you're an employer, and suddenly, thousands of your workers, people who have been legal U.S. citizens their whole lives, are now in limbo. Do you fire them? Do they lose their bank accounts? Their homes? It wouldn't just be a legal mess. It would be a national crisis. But let's not forget the political side of things. Trump knows immigration is one of the most divisive topics in America. And whether or not he actually succeeds in changing birthright citizenship, he benefits just by keeping the debate alive. It keeps his base energized. It keeps his opponents scrambling. And most importantly, it keeps the media talking about him. Because at the end of the day, this fight isn't just about laws. It's about power. The question is, will the American people let history repeat itself? The battle for birthright citizenship is far from over. But one thing is clear. The next election might decide its fate. So here we are. A court has shut down Trump's appeal. The Constitution stands firm. Birthright citizenship remains protected for now. But the bigger question isn't just about this one case. It's about the future. Because this fight, it isn't over. Trump has already promised that if he wins again, he'll push harder, find new legal loopholes, and appoint judges who might see things differently. And if that happens, the very definition of American citizenship could change forever. Think about that. A fundamental right that existed for over 150 years. A right that defines what it means to be American. Could be rewritten with the stroke of a pen. This isn't just politics. This is personal. It's about the millions of people who call this country home. The children who know no other life. The families who have built their futures on the promise that in America, if you're born here, you belong here. But that promise is only as strong as the people willing to defend it. So now it's over to you. What do you think? Should birthright citizenship be protected no matter what? Or do you believe Trump's argument holds weight? Drop a comment below and let's get this conversation going. And if you found this video eye-opening, hit that like button. It really helps more people see this. If you want to stay updated on major political battles like this one, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next deep dive. Because this fight isn't just happening in courtrooms. It's happening in conversations like this. Right here, right now. The question is, where do you stand?